Hey guys, it's Stephanie with Simarchy and welcome to a tutorial on how to landscape. Now this is very basic landscaping. This is part of my tutorial series. We're going to have a ton of videos showing you the most basic how to build videos all the way up to some more advanced stuff. So this is for someone just starting out landscaping from the beginning. Now we did build this house in our previous video, which was how to build houses that aren't shaped like boxes. So I will make sure to have that playlist linked in the description below. I deleted the landscaping that we had done in that video, and we're going to go ahead and start fresh. So the very first thing you want to do once you're in build mode is click on build. I think that just automatically is default for when you click on build mode. And we're going to click on outdoor plants. Now this is where most of the items we want to use are going to be located. We have a trees category, a shrubs and bushes, flowers, rocks, or you can click show all to show everything. Now I usually start off with a couple trees just to get kind of an idea of where I want to put them. And the most basic tree I normally use is the elm tree. I use this for a lot of starter homes, basic family homes, because it is cheap and it is small and it is a base game item. We're going to grab our elm tree and just look for kind of a place where it might naturally go, but it doesn't look completely pre-planned. So of course you don't want to put it in front of the door or directly in front of the window unless you're going for that look. So I'm just going to put it sort of off to the side here, and then I'm going to grab another one and just bring it out more a little bit towards the front of the property. And you can just kind of zoom in and zoom around and make sure you like that placement. So now that we have our trees, we're going to go ahead and grab our shrubs and flowers next. I usually start off with the shrubs, that way you know exactly where you want to put those. So we're going to grab this big bulbous bush and kind of maybe put it on either side of the doorway here, just to create some more green areas. Now we do have our mailbox. I'm going to move this over here for now until we know exactly where we're going to put it. I'll leave it right there in the corner so it's out of our way. And once we have our basic bushes down, now we can move on to our flowers. Now I always try to find flowers that complement the house colors and the windows. This house is primarily white and beige, so I think white flowers would look nice. You can also pick a contrasting color to kind of have it pop out more, like the pink. But for this basic landscaping, I'm going to go with the white. Now I'm just going to grab these little flowers and place them around the bushes. And if you drop a flower, it automatically deselects it. But if you hold shift when you're landscaping, or with any object that you want, you can keep, as long as you're holding shift, you can keep placing the item down. And I'm getting careful not to get too close to the walls because, again, I personally don't like when the items start clipping into the walls. Some people don't care and just leave them, but for me, that drives me nuts. So I put some flowers around the bushes. Now we can grab the same flower or a different flower, or just a different color. So let's just grab the pink ones, or you know what? Let's do yellow. Let's keep it kind of muted this time around. And I'm just going to place a few of those around the tree as well. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to place that many. You could just do one or two, just so we have a little bit of more flowers around the property. Next, I'm going to grab my rocks, and I usually I like to grab a few of these and just kind of tuck them underneath so they just poke out a little bit. I'm using the same trick of holding shift while I place them down so I can keep placing them. And just, there's no rhyme or reason to this, just whatever looks good. That might be a little bit too many rocks, so I'm going to undo a few of those and maybe just put like three little ones right there. It just adds a bit of dimension to what you're doing. And then over here, maybe we can grab a bigger rock. Okay, so once you have your bushes, flowers, rocks, and trees, of course, finally, you want to do your, well, not finally, there's still more, but you want to do your terrain paint. I always go through here and grab some dirt or a different colored grass or just something to kind of separate the flowers from looking like they're just sprouting out completely out of nowhere. So I usually go to dirt and sand and grab the garden bedlam or the smarter starter soil. So let's grab the smarter starter soil and pick sort of a medium circle brush. No, let's go smaller, a small circle brush. And I'm just going to paint, again, no rhyme or reason, just kind of around the edges of the landscaping I just did, just to give it a bit of dimension. Sometimes I go crazy and go outwards a bit, adds a bit of shading to the grass and just makes it look a bit more realistic. Now I said not finally because I also like to create little paths, especially if I'm working on well, I guess anytime really, but especially if I'm working on a very traditional home, I like to create little stone paths. And if we have all of these different options. We have patchwork pavers, pebbles, we have big river rocks, cobblestones. But usually my go-to one is the Space Game patchwork paver, and I usually do these with a bigger round brush or with a square. Since this house isn't super modern, I think we can get away with a bit of a circular pattern. So I'm just gonna kind of, draw it here and let it extend that way. Now, if it was a super modern house, I might use a square and make a completely straight line going down. But for now, that works. Now, it's still looking a little bit bare, so we can go ahead and landscape with a few more things if you want more of a abundant look to your flowers. But let's grab this little mailbox now that we have a basic shape of what we're doing, and maybe just tuck it there so it's out of the way, but it is still part of the landscaping. I mean, the mailbox is definitely included in that, and you could also include a trash bin in the front of the house or the back. I usually put them at the front of the house, but if you don't want a big giant trash bin, you could definitely just hide it in the back. So we'll skip that part for now. So we do have all this extra area. There's lots and lots of ideas. We can grab more trees. Just for an example, we could grab a different type of tree, maybe the hawthorn tree. And this one's a little bit bigger, but let's say we put it maybe over here. That's clipping into the house, so I probably won't leave it there. But it just adds a bit more of color and vegetation and things like that. We could do the birch tree and maybe bring that out this way. And then again, we can round that off with a bit of flowers or stones. But I think those trees are sufficient for this house. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the two I just placed. And let's say we want to create a little flower box or a flower feature here in the middle. We can do that as well. So if you're doing more of a wild type build, something out in the country, you can grab these wildflowers here. There's yellow wildflowers, assorted, and forest flowers. And these, just with no rhyme or reason, you could just kind of place them around and put some stones around them as well. Something like that. But since this looks more like a house that might be in the suburbs, that might be a little bit too much. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to create an area where I'm going to place my flowers. So we could do a box right in front of the window and a box in the empty spot. So there's several ways to do a flower box. The first one is to grab a fence. Now we do have the smooth keeper that comes default with the game. It is a base game item. We can find a color that sort of matches our house a bit, and we can place fences by drawing, and we could just create a little flower box right there in front of the window. It's going to add a flooring, so if we use our sledgehammer, we could delete that, and then we could go back into our terrain paints, grab our soil again that we were using. This time we could do squares since we're working with a square area, and put down our dirt. And now we can grab some flowers and put them in the flower box. I would use something a little bit different than we've been using, so it looks a little bit more intentional. Let's see. Some of the cute flowers I like are, which ones? Honestly, we don't have a lot. I'm going to be honest. We do not have a ton of flower options. These shaggy luscious are pretty cute, so we could just grab a couple of those, and you can leave it at that, or you can fill it in with some more flowers if you want, again, a more abundant look. So let's go through here and grab, sometimes there's stuff in the bushes that work as flowers that are technically bushes. But the thing is, they're just bigger, so we'll stick with the flowers and grab something small. How about the sunrose bush? This comes in different colors, but let's do the yellow, which is a default, and we'll just kind of stick those in between there just to give a little bit more of color and dimension. So there's one way to do a flower box. Now, this big empty space here, you can create another flower box with the fence, or a really cool way of doing this is going into your walls and empty rooms, clicking on your half walls, picking the shortest one, which is the short half wall. We're going to place half walls by drawing, and we're just going to create a shape. You could do a basic box, or you could do something a little bit more detailed. So let's make sort of a diagonal here, make a little octagonal shape, sort of. And now we created a box. So again, we're going to delete the flooring inside. we're going to grab our dirt. This time we'll grab something circular since we don't really want any harsh lines. We're going to fill this in here. It's okay if it spills out a little bit because it's dirt and it would make sense for dirt to be on the grass, so you don't have to be super, super careful. And now we're going to go into our wall patterns and we're going to grab some paneling. So there is a base game wall paneling called Starboard, and I'm going to hold shift to place that all around the outside and the inside of the half walls. And now I created a little flower box. So I can go ahead into my walls again and get my half wall trims and grab something that matches that a little bit better, maybe a sort of a darker wood like that. And now we can go back into our flowers and grab, I don't know, let's do the pink astronauts. Wow, that's funny. Okay, and then I'm holding Alt and Shift so that I can place them wherever I want and it'll keep repeating them. That's quite off a little bit, so I'm just gonna do it like that. And then there's also these sort of flat flowers. I don't know what to really call them. There's different shapes. So there's squares. Let me just put it here so you can see. There are curved and there are triangles. So what you can do with these is just fill up the flooring. I'm calling it flooring, but you know what I mean, like the dirt underneath, to just fill it up a little bit. If we use the curved ones, you can just kind of rotate it and keep placing it down just to sort of go around the flowers here, just like that. And then that way it fills up the space a little bit, but you can still see the dirt. It still looks like a flower box, and we could delete these extras. Now you can keep going. You can keep adding different colors here, different flowers. We can add a bit of yellow just to fill it up a bit more. And just get creative with it. There's no wrong or right way to landscape. Now, another way to landscape is to add flowers and vines to the house itself in flower boxes. So if we didn't have this flower box that we built, and let's pick a different window. Let's go over here, for example. We can click on this little shelf under our windows, which says wall sculptures, and we have a whole bunch of different items that we can use for landscaping. So a base game item is the window box of superiority. So we can grab this and we can actually just place that right on top of our windows. And you can even put it on top, you could put it on the bottom, you can get really creative with these. They're just cute little flower boxes that you can sort of put anywhere around the house. Now, alternatively, we do also have, well, not alternatively, you can totally use these in combination with each other. We have our lay up house flowers that came with, oh, is this Get to Work, I think? No, Get Together. I never know my packs. But these are beautiful and they climb up the side of the wall, so I definitely tend to use those a lot. And then if I do have them so that they don't look like they're just sprouting out of nowhere, I will go grab a little flower that matches and just kind of put it underneath so it looks like they're just vines that sprouted up from the flowers and started growing onto the home. And then of course you'll want to go through and grab your dirt again and just kind of shade it in. Okay, so there is another way to landscape. And is there another way? I feel like that's basically the main ones. We can get into some more in-depth ones with some advanced landscaping. I can show you how to create your own ponds, waterfalls, rock features, sand gardens, rock gardens, all sorts of stuff like that. So if you have any other suggestions, drop them in the comment below. And don't forget to subscribe because I am posting a ton of tutorials all the way from the very, very basic to the more advanced. So there will be lots of videos to watch. Hopefully you can pick up a tip and trick here and there. And of course, I have regular building videos on the channel all the time as well. Over 600 of them for you guys to check out. And I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye! Wait guys, before you go anywhere, don't forget to click over here to watch new videos and click on my face when I disappear to subscribe.